To check out the entire show, just hit the link at the bottom of the screen. Other than that, the NBA is back. We start with the Golden State Warriors at Brooklyn Nets. Right now, you can get the Nets at 7 or 7.5. Those sevens are leaving. We have FanDuel up. We have odds.com's odds page up to line shop for Dutch Boy Fresh. The official bets that Dutch Boy Fresh makes, the official picks on this show, I will be tracking throughout the season, which adds a lot of fun to all of this. Brooklyn did open up at plus 5.5.
Minus 5.5, I believe, right?
Excuse me. Yeah, sorry. Minus 5.5 at Bet365. That is moved. That is moved to 7.5 there. The total has moved as well. Opened up at 228. It's all the way up to 231.5. Let's go. So many exciting things in this game. Kevin Durant set to make his NBA Nets debut against his former team. Our boy up here in the north, Steve Nash, makes his head coaching debut. We have Kyrie Irving, who starts out seasons very strong. He's crazy, you know. I don't know, maybe that's a little harsh, but
nah, man, I think that's actually sugarcoating it.
He's out there. He's out there, but he starts
weird, man. He's a different type of cat. Let's just say that.
That's a good way of putting it. He starts seasons very strong, which leads me to have immediate interest on a prop with Kyrie Irving. We will circle back to the props because I know that that's an angle that you succeed with in your basketball betting. Last season, in the first 11 games, Kyrie Irving averaged 28.5 points and 7.2 assists. Spencer Dinwiddie, who averaged 20.6 points per game, will now be backing him up. You have Karis LeVert and Landry Shamet at the 2, Joe Harris and Taurean Prince at the 3, Kevin Durant, Rodions Kurucs at the 4, Jared Allen, DeAndre Jordan at the 5. It's just wild. Then on the other side with the Warriors, Klay Thompson's injury dampened Golden State's offseason. We'll get into the Warriors, but let's start with your feel on this Brooklyn Nets squad, bringing in this superstar in Kevin Durant.
Right, and he looked nice the first 2 games I've seen in preseason. His legs, I don't know if they're all the way there, but they're on their way. I love to see KD back. I hope he stays healthy. It's good to be a fan. It's great for the NBA to see KD out there doing his thing. You said it about Kyrie. He's one of the best point guards, one of the best talents in the league. He's also one of the weirdest dudes in the league. Like, he's not too trustworthy. Earlier the better, because long-term with Kyrie, something's probably going to happen. He's going to be disgruntled. He's going to wake up on the wrong side of the bed more than often. So truly, I do think they have a lot of talent. I'm pretty actually high on Brooklyn, but it's a wait-and-see process with them to see how far they're really going to go. I do like them early. I think they're super deep. I love LeVert. He's actually going to be coming off the bench, I believe. And he's going to be nasty. He's great with the ball, not great without the ball. But if KD and Kyrie go to the bench, LeVert is definitely going to be handling business on the court. I also like Allen. He's coming off the bench now. DeAndre is going to be starting. Allen, I believe, was right under a double-double, pretty much a double-double last year in points and rebounds. He got him coming off the bench. You got Prince coming off the bench. You got Shamet coming over from the Clippers. They're 10 deep. I actually like to pick up Brown, too, the 6'4" guard from the Pistons. He could play some defense. I don't know how much run he's going to get, but I actually like the kid when it comes down to playing some defense and playoff basketball. But they have a solid bench, above average bench, above starting lineup. And to me, it pretty much just comes down to how's KD and Kyrie, how will they coexist when it counts? But they have all the talent in the world. And sky's the limit for the Brooklyn Nets this year.
Steve Nash as the head coach. You got Amari Stoudemire there on the sidelines. You got D'Antoni. What are your expectations of pace with this basketball team? How do you see this new head coaching staff moving with this club?
Definitely fast pace. You say D'Antoni, I think points. Nash obviously was in the system. Amari, they're all in that system. Hopefully we see some defense. Like I mentioned, the starting line, the defense is on the bench. You know, Prince, Allen, Brown. You have Kyrie, KD. KD did show that he could play some defense in Golden State. DeAndre's a step slow now. You got Dinwiddie, I believe, at the who's going to be the other guard, and then we have Joe Smith, or not
Harris.
Joe Smith, Harris. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the offense, when you look at the starting five, it doesn't blow me away offensively at all. I actually like what they have coming off the bench, but I definitely believe defense is going to be a big question mark with them, as is Steve Nash. Obviously, is going to be a big question mark. The talent's there. Let's see if he can get the rotation down, because like I said, he has a lot of players. I personally think we should be seeing Allen in the starting lineup over DeAndre. He's the name. He's getting the big bucks. But Allen's a stud, man. He's what you want when you have two guys like KD and Kyrie who always want the ball, need the ball. Allen doesn't want the ball. He's going to either get the rebound, get it away like a hot potato, or he's going to put it back in as a tip down. That's his job. DeAndre can do that as well. But this is DeAndre. This ain't DeAndre 3, 4, 5 years ago. He's definitely a step slower nowadays.
How can they possibly keep Dinwiddie happy?
That's a big question. That's why that's what. It's not just that Steve Nash has to control Kyrie, which is probably honestly going to be the biggest issue. But Dinwiddie, he has LeVert. I don't know really what he's going to do. I think Dinwiddie, if he allows him to run the point a little bit, as Kyrie can maybe play off, because I know Dinwiddie likes to have the ball a lot as well. But I see LeVert kind of playing as a Harden as like in OKC when they had KD and Westbrook. LeVert's that type of player. Now, he's not on the elite level as James Harden, but he's a good player. He averaged 18, 4, and 4 last year. Coming off the bench, I see him as strong six man and getting a lot of minutes, and maybe even on the court when it's crunch time.
Very interesting to see how Nash handles this. Let's move over.
He's got his hands full, that's for sure.
Without a doubt. Let's move over to the Warriors here. We talked briefly about Klay Thompson's injury, sort of dampening this offseason. They bring in Kelly Oubre, Kent Bazemore. Both are okay shooters plus defenders. We get to see the Warriors' debut of Andrew Wiggins, a player that we were so excited about up here in the North that is barely talked about. And it just feels like a lot of people have sort of given up on Andrew Wiggins. James Wiseman will play in the season opener on Tuesday. He will play. As for the starting lineup, we don't know what Kerr's going to do. I don't know if you have any insight on that.
What I've seen is I believe it's going to be Looney. He likes Looney.
Yeah.
And I believe Wiseman hasn't got any run in the preseason. He barely played in college. The kid's 19 years old. I wouldn't expect too much out of him. People expect a lot. I mean, I'm sure he's going to get run, but I wouldn't expect too much. Looney's going to get it, and I believe Pascal, or however the hell you say his name, is going to be the 4 because Draymond is out.
Officially, yes. He's officially out. Yeah, officially out.
And then we got Wiggins, Oubre, and, of course, Steph with
Wanamaker backing him up. I like that situation. You got Damian Lee.
Wanamaker.
Yeah, I like him. I like him backing him up. You got Damian Lee also at the 2 and Pascal at the 4. Capable of doing stuff. Marquise Chris, another Pacific Northwest guy in college, someone that we were so excited about, and he was, he could basically get picked up by any team in the league for nothing. So he's also there at the 5. Whether or not he'll ever get any run is questionable. All right, let's go to action now. I can understand why this total has gone up to 231.5. That makes sense. And without Draymond, I can understand why the Nets are taking money and the market's moving in their direction. How are you going to make an official play? And if so, what is it?
Okay, so now looking at the game, I did like the over. I missed the boat on that. I can't jump on it now, so I do lean the over. Like we already talked about, that place is going to be up and down, especially when KD and Kyrie are on the court. And I think the Warriors are going to have trouble at the defensive end, especially protecting the paint. So what I'm looking at here, so when I look into it now, obviously it's the first game of the season, but when the Warriors are actually in their last 18 games in Brooklyn are 5-13 ATS. So that really stood out to me. And then also these two teams played one time last year on February 5th. It was in Brooklyn. They were 6.5-point favorites. Now, obviously, Steph didn't play. Draymond did play in this game, and pretty much the entire front line that's going to be playing in this game, excluding, obviously, Wiseman, who obviously, and I don't really believe is going to get too much. I'm sure he's going to get minutes, but I wouldn't expect too much from him. early. I expect it more late in this. Late in the season. But that game was actually a 41-point victory by Brooklyn, 129-88. Now, the reason why I look at this game is because when I check it, it's points in the paint was 68-38. Brooklyn outscored them by 30 points. Also out-rebounded them by 31, 65-34. Now, I look at this game simply because Draymond was there, Pascal was there, Looney was there. Everyone who's going to be on that front line tomorrow night is going to be playing, excluding Draymond Green. Now, you're also going to include KD as the starting power forward to Brooklyn. So I believe that's even going to allow them to even be better rebounding. So to me, it just looks like the rebounding edge, the paint, and then simply I just think Kyrie, and that bench is going to be too much for the Warriors. I'm looking at the Warriors, or excuse me, I'm looking at the Brooklyn Nets. I like it first half -4. I believe we spoke about it earlier. I have it locked in at -4 at William Hill. You're unable to get that line, I believe, right now at -4. It is -4.5. I hate that hook, so I am going to have to wait on that to make that official. Hopefully by game time, we can go ahead and get a 4 out there. I'm sure you'll be able to find a 4 by game time, and that's a -4 Brooklyn Nets first half. But I will go ahead and lock in the full game Brooklyn Nets -7. I simply just believe, like I mentioned, the rebounding edge, the lack of defense on the inside from the Warriors is going to be too much for them to contain. And KD, we know what can I say? I mean, the guy obviously is going to want to show out against Golden State. He's not only going to want to show out because he's been out for God knows how long. We're coming back from Achilles, but we know he's got something against Golden State. He left him hanging. And, I'm sure he wished Draymond was out there so he could dust his ass. But, Draymond's hiding from him. He don't want to see KD tomorrow night.
I like it. We can get you -7 at -110 at Bet America. It's almost completely at 7.5 on the offshores, but on these legal licensed books in America, there still are a few 7s. I'm going to try and get you that -4. I will look around and see if I can get it for you. And
it was at -4 at William Hill about 2 hours ago, about 6:30 my time, Pacific.
Okay, I will see if I can get that for you. Now let's go to the props market. Is there anything that you'll be making moves on?
Yeah, so in that game also, so what I'm going to look at is Joe Harris. Now, I do believe they're obviously going to spread the court. The eyes are going to be on Kyrie, KD. They cause an awful lot of attention. Joe Harris is one of the best three-point shooters in the game. He's just he just knocks down the shots. He's a solid all-around player. Shot over 40% from the three-point range. He actually averaged 14 points, 4 rebounds last year on the season. And in the game I mentioned to you last year when they played, he had 17 points and 9 rebounds. Now against Boston in the last preseason game, where he actually got some actual real minutes, 22 minutes, he had 14 points and 5 rebounds. So what I'm going to look to do is I'm going to simply expect him to knock down at least 2 or 3 threes, probably get to the free throw line, get some rebounds, and get a couple buckets. I see him getting easily around 14 to 16 points. So I'm going to lock in over 11.5 points, -116, and that's available at FanDuel, Jimmy.
Let's lock that in for you, over 11.5.
And while we do that, let's go ahead and lock in over 3.5 rebounds. Like I mentioned, he averaged 4 rebounds a game last year. He had 9 rebounds against them previously, and I simply believe they do have Wiggins and Oubre. Obviously, they're better rebounding guards than they had last year, but Joe Harris is going to get his boards. So he will get us 4 boards tomorrow night. So over 3.5 rebounds, -106, and that line was actually available at DraftKings.
At DraftKings.
Yeah, a little less juice there.
Yeah,
FanDuel's trying to hit me over the head.
Yeah, FanDuel.
They know Joey's getting his.
I like it. So we have Joe Harris over 11.5 points, -116 at FanDuel. Over 3.5 rebounds at -106 at DraftKings. We have the Nets -7 at -110 at Bet America, and I'm going to try to find him a first half -4. I will be searching for that. Then I want Kyrie Irving. I really think that early in the year he's got this me against the world mentality, and we know that he breaks down. His body just breaks down as the year goes on. I have 2 options here, and I'm not sure. It's not available for me to bet yet at Bet365, but at FanDuel, you have his points at 24.5, or his points and assists, and I believe that's at 30.5. What is more appealing to you, the points and assists at 30.5 or the points at 24.5?
Well, Kyrie's usually seems to be a little more normal, a little bit more friendly at the beginning of the year.
Definitely.
Likes to get others involved. So I think he's going to drop some dimes. And what I've been noticing is him and Kyrie, and him and KD been on the courts kind of every other. They've almost KD's averaged a little bit more shots, but not by much. They're right around the same minutes played and shots attempted in the first 2 games played. So I do like Kyrie's points. It's hard not to. Especially, I like the matchup against Curry. I don't think Curry can handle him at any means. Kyrie can do whatever he wants on Curry, and probably vice versa as well. But I do think that he's going to be looking to get KD involved. That's his buddy right now, and they're friends now. So, I do believe he's going to, he should get 6 to 8 assists tomorrow night.
Yeah, and that goes back to what he was averaging through the first 11 games last year, and he didn't have someone like KD to get a couple cheapo assists off of 28.5 points, 7.2 assists, first 11 games last year, 35.7, and they're offering it at 30.5. I will be attacking Kyrie to start the year for me in NBA, and we've already gone over our Dutch Boy Fresh official right now. Nets -7 to -110 over Joe Harris, 11.5 points, and over 3.5 rebounds for Joe Harris.
And just to counter that with you, since you're going with Kyrie,
sure.
Like I mentioned, I like the Steph. Now, this is a prop I haven't really actually done before, but it stood out to me this morning when I was looking. It's top scorer of the game. Now, Steph, I believe, is at 26.5, 27 points, I believe, what I seen earlier. So they have him being the top scorer of the game when it just goes at that. He's definitely the go-to. He's put up 23, 21 attempts in both preseason games where he's actually got minutes. I see him being the top scorer in the game. It's a plus 145. You can take a shot at that, plus 145. That's available at FanDuel. I definitely think that's a juicy play. Haven't locked it in, but it's appealing.
I like it. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Top point scorer, Curry at plus 145, Durant at 220, Irving at 250. Before we move on, for our Canadian listeners who are very interested in this young man, what are your expectations of Andrew Wiggins this year?
Okay, so I was really high on him being the 3 against Klay. With Klay, with Curry, Klay, and Wiggins, I actually thought it was really nice. I thought, wow, they got rid of D'Angelo Russell for this. This is more of a fit. Excuse me. But with Kelly Oubre, I almost see the same kind of players. So I don't know if it's going to be a great fit with Oubre because to me, they're almost the same exact players. Oubre is probably a little bit nicer from range and Wiggins a little bit more athletic. But I like Wiggins. I liked him as a 3-piece. I don't know if he's going to try to compete with Oubre as a 2. He was clearly going to be a 3 with Klay and Curry. Now he might be thinking he's the 2 because I'm sure he thinks he's better than the little guy from Kansas, Oubre. He's the little dude, right? He came out before him. He's the big guy. I see that, but I love the talent. It's there, but it's all about want to. And that's why I like Joe Harris getting the 3.5 rebounds because he's got more want to than Wiggins does.
Yeah, I like want to. My old hockey coach used to yell, "You gotta wanna, you gotta wanna."
Yeah, because all this talent in the world, everybody in the NBA's got talent. Yeah. Everybody's good as those guys that that go all in. LeBron is so talented more than everyone, but he takes it so much serious than everyone. That's why he's the best. He
sure does. There you have it. What a great way to start the NBA season. Warriors, Brooklyn Nets.